I've certainly attended these remotely when I was not in town. Hotel room in Kankakee.
How you feeling? You feeling better after the COVID?
Oh, yeah, it was pretty mild.
Can Zoom hear us?
This is Mike Eckert. I can hear you.
Very good. Let me call this meeting of the Harmony Community Development District to order. We'll start with roll call. Dan? Carol? Lucas?
Here.
And Joe, I understand, is out of town. And I'm Mark, the manager. So we do have a quorum. And we may have the meeting. Audience comments, just a reminder, there's a 3-minute time limit. Anybody on Zoom have any comments? There being none, we move on.
Just wondering where all the candidates are. That would keep a candidate away?
All right, let's start with staff reports. Landscaping benchmark.
Go ahead, Nick.
Good afternoon. I am Nick with Benchmark Landscaping. I actually have quite a bit to go over with you guys. On the 14th of June, the top choice treatment for all of the parks was completed. We put shakers and liquid on our trucks in case we see them on sidewalks. We will continue to spray that, but in-house. And we have warranty on that, so if there's a callback, I will certainly have them come out.
How long is the warranty?
Well, I have unlimited callbacks, so for the duration of that treatment, the duration of this year on those parks. The flower bed border was complete on all of our annual beds on the 12th of June. Actually went really well. Maybe by the end of the year, we will add some soil, which we normally do once or twice a year anyway. The IMC, the irrigation report, the grounds was completed on June 15th. Repairs are still underway. You'll see some pink flags. Some of them were like solenoids and things of that nature. It took a little bit more time than normal. And the South Lake and East Lake irrigation. At the end of May, the beginning of June, we received a lot of phone calls regarding irrigation issues. We did a separate IMC report, different than we do for the entire community. We found 2 solenoids. We replaced those. We cleaned 1 diaphragm, along with 5 heads and 1 bubbler. After we did that, we allowed it to sit for about 3 weeks to grow. Since then, this week we mowed it. The Bahia is at 3 inches. The St. Augustine is at 4 inches. We're looking to go to 4.5 by the end of July. And that will catch up with our deck height, which is on all of the verges of the St. Augustine, which right now is at 4.5 inches. The lakes, we seen we had a complaint about the lakes, the vegetation around the base of them. With that drought, the levels dropped dramatically. We got weeds going out to almost the middle in some spots. It's only going to correct itself when they get back up to their normal levels. We do have our equipment going to the same edge as we always do. If we go any further, it's too risky. So we're spot weeding where we can, but we do monitor and hear the complaints on it. So as we can get closer, we certainly will. And we are string trimming areas that we can stand on safely. The oak tree project is complete, and that includes the list of the people that say they didn't receive the trees. Due to parking, we knocked on all the doors. Every single one was addressed. And now everyone, the Caprior Verge. So we received a lot of complaints on that. So let me just go over in a little bit more detail the process that went into doing that job before it started. In the very beginning, we removed all of the leaves from there. At that point, the next step was for us to put flags at every single sprinkler, operating or not. During that time, if there was one that wasn't functioning properly, we would adjust the head, replace it, or the nozzle. The day of the installation, we also had a sod scraper come through and remove all of the vegetation that was currently there, even weeds, up to the roots. Then we would take the rakes and do the best that we could. We scraped as low as we possibly could, but when it got closer to the trees, if you notice on every tree in that area, it kind of went up. The roots, it was just hard. If at any point in time of the year, it's difficult. So when we installed it, the sod was laying and it was on soil, but there was more wood in some areas than there was actual soil. So even with the irrigation working, it's still, with that drought, it was hard. So we plan on bringing in an additional pallet of sod. Due to the photographs that were taken, if you notice, the most of it was around the actual base of the tree, 1 or 2 rings. We will fix that. We've measured it up. We did 13 pallets. It's just shy of 1. It's like 3/4, but we're gonna bring in a whole one to do those areas. We continue to monitor the irrigation weekly. Sometimes we get a text message, we'll go check it out. The clocks in that area, there's 2 that would control the water there. We had them watering every single day. This week I reduced it down to 2 days because we're gonna have fungal pressure. Once I noticed that, on Tuesday of this coming week, I meet with True Green out here and they're gonna do a fungal application in some other areas because there's a lot of a lot of moisture. So after that, we should see improvement. We do plan on bringing in that additional pallet of sod in July. So next time we meet, that'll have already been installed. When I do that, I will provide pictures, email them, so you guys will receive them all. What I can't avoid problems is the walk paths, the deck heights. I went by one of the houses today, they were mowed at about 2 1/4. I can't control that. I did speak with a couple of the landscapers that were mowing it. They called me and they asked me, what the flags were, what I should do. I told them, don't cut it any lower than 4 inches. If it's not growing that much, I would just edge it. There is the shade, but we did raise those trees. So it's at the best opportunity to lay sod was when we did it. The drought, no one had any idea how long it would last. So yes, there was some pressure from that. But upon today's inspection, I will say there's huge improvement, and out of the 13 pallets, just the one needs to be replaced. Overall, I would still say it's a success. And I do see it improving, especially when they come in and do another application, because that is a callback. So I wasn't satisfied with the first one, so I want them to come back, address the fungal pressure. We will continue to monitor that weekly. Every Monday, me and my production manager, we go to these areas and we check them. There's 3 addresses that we have, and we go to those because those are struggling the most. One of the homeowners has came out, I believe it was the one that you had CC'd everyone in, that emailed to you. Since then, we have communicated on the phone. He had his fertilizer company start fertilizing that, and I meet him the week after the 4th for an evaluation to see if it's improving. Nice guy. He has my number and he's called me with 2 other questions. We've turned on the water for him. He sees these sprinklers. Now it's just, we just wait with the rainfall, but that's where we are at with the Verge. Is there any questions in light of all the emails? I'd like to make sure that we're all on the same page when it comes to that. And we understand that I am gonna bring 1 pallet for those areas photographed and emailed.
Does that include 3306 Caprior?
330.
That has a lot of sod that did not make it.
Yeah, if where we put sod was failing, we documented it based on those pictures, then yes. It was at the end of the run, I believe, and then a little bit by the tree.
Yeah,
That-
there's like 3 areas there,
Right, so yeah, we measured it
just
out,
on that one home.
right. We measured that whole area where we put the sod in and we came up with, it was like 300 square feet. A pallet's like 455. I'm just gonna bring in the 5 address the main issues, and then wherever I see weak spots, I will put the rest of the sod in those areas as well, and I will provide documentation on those as well.
And can you provide, just for everybody listening and here, the update on 3344 Cat Briar, is that one house where the,
Yes, so most interesting. So you called me and asked me to look into something. So when I went, I think it was the following day, I went to turn on that system. It didn't come on. So we investigated it further and we found the original hockey puck timer in a valve across the street. What happened was the battery died. That simple. So it wasn't tied into any one of our satellites. Out of the 31 satellites, it wasn't tied in at all. It was on its own rogue. I was shocked. I had sent you the video. There's two options, I think, and that's why I didn't want to touch on it this week, because I can either put a decoder on it and program it to the controller, or I take a wire and I run it directly. When it comes to the timer portion of it, we didn't receive a valve map. I would have not have known. I'm glad you brought that to us, but that hockey puck needs to be removed. Yes, it's operating now, but it was never gonna operate when everyone else was. So to his point, yeah, he probably never seen it. He probably came outside, seen his neighbors and everyone around him, but him. It could have went on 2 days later. I think it probably died sometime around February. Cause up until then, I looked at the IMC reports and then the pictures, cause we photographed the area. And then we also took some photographs when we removed the leaves. And then after that, it was pretty rough after the leaf. When we removed it, there was a lot of dirt. Then I got the phone call. Now it's greening up, but I also did say, it was good business, that if we need to bring sod outside of that one pallet, I'm willing to put sod in front of that individual's home. However, I would ask that the board meet me in the middle because I didn't know about the valve map. And I was very clear in the fall when I said there is still 15% of the unknown. We'll cover the sod expense in front of that address, no problem at all. But I would ask that you guys cover me programming that to the satellite and eliminating that hockey puck. And then we would put that on with every other system.
Well, yeah,
We're
I think
used
it-
to. I'm sorry?
Bring it up to the level.
Yeah, it would have its own station. It would run right before or after. I just don't know which sequence, but I would inform the homeowner of that, so he could come outside and he would know, oh, my neighbor's is coming on. I can expect mine.
so, just a question. I thought when we paid several tens of, I don't know, $75,000 to have the irrigation system checked, that would have been found.
Right, so like, and when we concluded at the end, when I went through tirelessly went through all the notes, that's why I was saying, we had 15% left of unknown.
But that's right on Catbrier. It's not like some little area.
We
like
would
it's-
have no way of knowing there's a valve.
Well, weren't you setting off the sprinklers and making sure every place was getting irrigation?
Right, and that's the thing, because the sprinklers are visible with new nozzles. So if we seen a flag or a break, or we got an email about a broken sprinkler, we would go there, see it, and replace it. Some of those are our new nozzles. When I called you on Discovery, I was like, hey, these are new nozzles, let me see what's going on. So the system was running, just on its own independent. So if we were to see a broken sprinkler on Catbrier, because of the roots, most of them are stubbed up about this much. So they're visible. That whole section is visible.
But didn't you, like, when you check, don't you turn on a zone and then you check to make sure the whole zone is working?
Right, we
So-
do.
So why wasn't that zone, wasn't it noticed that zone was not on when you turned on?
Because
everything
of-
else?
because it wasn't.
Well, up that and up until, say, go ahead.
I just said.
Oh, so it wasn't going on.
Why?
There
Who
was,
knows why?
yeah, so there was
Well, I'm just saying it should have been caught because we paid a lot.
That I think is your point, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. But that's why I said there's 15% of the system that are still unknown. That and one other place, which happens to be across the street, that pocket park where those kids play ball at. Yes, we got irrigation, but they tear it up. But the pressure was low, so that would come into the unknowns. It could have been, what I thought it was the roots crushing on the pipes, because we've also replaced, well, not replaced, but repaired 2 main lines in the area since March. And we're constantly doing that, just like they're constantly grinding the sidewalk. So the roots play a huge part. So without seeing, up until February, we weren't seeing any distress whatsoever. It wasn't until the drought that the battery would have died. But without a valve map, yeah, we wouldn't have known. So I definitely appreciate the phone call, prompted the investigate. It took 3 days. We found it, but yeah, that's definitely part of that 15%.
Sounds like what happened is you had maybe, you would have had to have, when you were doing the zone tests, noticed that this area didn't come on. But you didn't have a clue of the area being stressed because it was still running on its own timer that it had dug in. So
That and repairs made recent, well, when I say recently, within the past 6, 7 months, because those nozzles are of that time frame. So it could be a response to an email, it could be a text, or it could be, my guy saying, hey, we see a broken sprinkler, because it's very evident. Because that table of the soil and the roots is about this much above. So even a broken nozzle will create a huge mess on the sidewalk. They'll drop a flag, we'll make a, repair.
you'll make the repair, but that might not necessarily include the, activating whatever zone that was.
Correct.
You might not have pressure depending on time of day to.
And then the pressure there in that particular 300 feet, we've had probably 7 line breaks just from pressure roots. Could have assumed that's what it was. And, lo and behold, there was a timer in a box. It's about this big. And it wasn't even in front of the home. It was across the street, 2 trees over. So that's the
How did you
update.
find it?
Huh?
How did you find it? then?
Man, at first it was so brutal. So at first I have a pole and I was just tracing the main line and we were testing each and every valve. And then we couldn't find it. We brought in a locator and we were pinging it, tracing wires. And then we got lucky when we were getting ready to relocate. It pinged and we went in there and we found it and it just had a battery that died. It's probably original from 2003. They don't even make that anymore. I was kind of shocked. I was excited to send it to you, but I was like, wow. Well, but without a valve map, that's why in the fall, I could never say I'm 100% because that would be lying. I wasn't. So hindsight, yeah, we found it. That's great, but that's why.
And along those lines, we have, now that you guys have done all these installations, we have effectively a valve map of the new stuff. that's coming.
Based on what we've done, right, but even if you put that on paper and I rolled it out on this desk, there would be still,
Oh, sure. That-
A
there could
couple
be
of
another one,
questions.
the Battery hasn't failed yet from,
yeah,
I understand that.
right. And there's a couple of areas where I'm like, man, something's not right. So when she sent that to me, I was kind of shocked, but relieved at the same time because Caprior is such a huge issue for irrigation. And this whole community, Caprior and Schoolhouse up to your house,
Because the trees are the oldest, probably.
100%. There's a section from the dog park to the roundabout going to Buck Lake that there's not one piece that's 10 feet original. Not one. There was places a few months ago, I was making a repair and I could still see where I just made a repair 3 or 4 days prior. So we're so quick to go to over in this area, but this is also the area like, wow, we just,
Yeah, well, it's a 20-year-old piping, 20-year-old wires interspersed with tree roots.
we had a repair earlier this June. We had to get to it by a stump grinder. There was no shovels. You've seen it. We had a stump grinder come in and cut a hole for us to make a repair this big. And it was just because the feeder root, instead of going like this, it just put pressure on it. And it didn't even bubble up. It shot down. So we had to bring in soil to pack it in. It was only on a IMC that we discovered, hey, at this point, we have nothing. A little bit of exploring and we see there's this huge cavity. And so we had to backfill it and it's, again, the same area.
Speaking of cavities, I keep on meaning to send you a photo. There is a cavity where there's a sprinkler head on Schoolhouse, a block or 2 down from my house.
On your side? Or
Yeah,
on the-
yeah, there's no houses on the other side. just a block or two down from my house, just right on the outside of the sidewalk in the verge.
Is that where they had that work done? About
They
four?
just, they had a new roof put on. I think it's that house.
No. Do you recall when they had, Toho came in here and they tore up that?
Oh, I don't know if it's that house or not.
I'll look into it. If you can send that to me even with
Okay,
ballpark,
next time I walk by that.
I'll look
take a
at it,
picture.
between now and Monday.
Good.
My thoughts are, I mean, yeah, we, at that 85% level, we've got, most of the things. If an area isn't showing distress, I mean, I don't think we should be doing anything more than what's already been done until, we have a failure, something that we can then chase down and get closure on.
Yeah, so now we just want to get it on the system and move forward. And even now, if you were to drive by it right now, you wouldn't notice. Because I mean, the battery was put in, we've got a little bit of rainfall, and that timer is to run 3 days a week on his individual lawn. So I mean, it's just one of those areas.
Sounds good to me.
Is there any other questions about that verge?
Other residents allowed to ask questions or?
No,
But that period ended before you came in.
It did?
no. Residents are never allowed to ask questions.
Well, make comments.
Comments, yes, comments are at the beginning of the meeting.
Now, I mean, in the past, we've typically been amenable for not running very long, and if it's.
Yeah, but we've already gone overtime on this.
I understand.
Yeah.
Well, but great. Send them an email.
I did.
Me?
I sent an email to the CDD board. They responded saying that they were troubleshooting all the sprinklers, but I don't know, so.
Okay,
Well, if you
I'll
could,
tell you what, after the meeting,
Well, I didn't know that,
I can swing by.
okay,
Okay,
I'll take a picture of this. and then-
that's fine. Monitor that area. We'll check it out once. We are gonna cut the water back, but, next month, I'll call you, on the report. And,
we're talking about the building.
Um, I have, but it's not, I don't need approval on it now. It was, seed option for,
Soccer field.
that's the seed option. It wouldn't need, approval until October. It was just something for you guys to, think. In the past, we did the, proposal for the sod and we provided a proposal for the synthetic turf. Obviously, the synthetic turf, we all ruled out immediately. The Bermuda celebration blend was just under 50,000 for the soccer field. And then the application that we had just sent over and it was, has what's called Double Eagle, and we're gonna do a rye blend. What would happen is we would scalp it really low, flag the sprinklers, and then literally hand rake it.
But-
Wo-
This is something to do in October, November.
Yes,
Why don't you bring it up in September?
well, I was just asked to bring it for you guys to review this time last month. So I was just letting you know that I did provide that and you guys.
Yeah, my view on the soccer field is that I don't know what you guys did for 7 years, but somebody dropped the ball somewhere along the line. There used to be work done every year. November-ish time, seeding with rye, taking care of it, getting ready for the winter. And that just sort of vanished
Well,
as we changed management companies and clearly everybody sort of forgot it. And it's like, okay, asleep at the switch.
I can't speak on the years that we weren't.
I
active.
understand completely, but I have no idea why that got stopped.
I couldn't, I wouldn't have the answer.
Yeah,
for
no, I
that.
know you
no,
wouldn't.
and I don't know what's in our contract regarding the soccer field. We should find that out.
And that is all I had, for.
Hey, Nick, this is Lucas. Just a couple quick comments. Regarding the grass, I know you guys talked about the soccer field, the Middlebrook park at the end of the cul-de-sac is in the same kind of condition. We talked about that before, about re-sodding that. I kind of want to bring that up to the board as an option going forward. And the other topic I had was the sprinkler timings on mainly on Five Oaks, but I've seen them go off when it's very hot out during like 3, 4 o'clock in the day, which is not good for the grass. So I just want to make sure that we're not watering the grass in certain areas when it's 90 degrees outside.
Yeah, so they're all set to go off at night. If we had water going on in the day, one of our staff members may have noticed some wilting and just tried to give it like 20 minutes. This morning on Five Oaks, over there by the roundabout going to Caprior, the valve was actually stuck on. So we had to shut that off manually, and we have a tech coming out tomorrow around 10 o'clock to replace that solenoid. But yeah, I will see to it that the clocks, they are all done, I would think by 7 a.m. And that's, the sod on Middlebrook, I can provide an estimate, but I know in the meetings past, we talked about doing a Bahia seed with rye.
I'm all for, and on the playground side, on the far side of the sidewalk, I'm for mulch because it's just bulldozer blade. It's just whatever sod you put in, it's gonna get torn up with kids running around on it. I think we should just mulch it. The area in the verge needs to have something else, but that also gets walked on a lot by kids, by adults going for their mail, etc. So
If we do the mulch, just understand we will have to do some type of border to keep it in, because if not, with everyone kicking and running, they're either gonna track it everywhere, or it's just not gonna stay in place for a hard thunderstorm considering the location. I can propose both options, but, I can have that even as soon as the next CDD meeting in time, for you guys to review it.
Yeah, Nick, if you could provide us both the mulch and the sod option. Um, this has been, I think, going on for like the last 3 meetings, and I don't think we've ever found a solution yet. So that'd be great.
I'll have, no problem. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Thank you very much.
You guys have a wonderful evening.
President can't speak the rest of the time, right? There's no-
That is, that is correct.
We have supervisor requests at the end, and I'm gonna use mine to ask if you want to, but you can also email us as you email us. The best way to contact us is through
Yeah.
email. If you feel you're not getting response or recourse, that's when the audience comments at the beginning of the meeting are.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I was stuck at work, missed my kid's basketball practice and walked in 2 minutes late, so I apologize, but I will be at the next meeting early. So, thank you.
Field manager.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Jorge, Field Service Supervisor. Well, we have been working fixing the pavers in the square.
Well, first, thank
Splash-
you for the
Splash
splash pad.
Yeah, we called Florida Health early today, like at 10 a.m. when we test the water. All the numbers were good, so they came here less than 1 hour and opened it. Yeah, we got the
So the
permit.
monitor came in, there's a new
Florida
monitor.
Health, yeah.
No, so the monitor, so what it is running now is that it's just a constant stream.
There's no
So the
dancing,
monitor is what outputs,
dance.
and that is still on paper. It's hard to believe, but it is.
And we're gonna test the water every morning, and I have to ask, what time do you want to turn on? What time do you want to turn it off? We have it now from 9:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m.
I'd like to see it start at 7:30. I'm sure there are parents who want to get their kids out. Kids are bothering them then.
Well, what time do you
Yeah.
guys?
We come here at 7,
Okay.
and we leave at 4, so it's giving us time to test the water
Oh, who
and
is,
clean the filter.
so who would turn it off? Or does it have a timer?
Automatic.
Automatic, gotcha.
It's working. The timers are working fine.
Okay,
The pumps are running with the filters running 24/7 to keep the water clean. Mhm.
So quick question, Jorge. It's Lucas. Yeah, I would second Carol's thing to have it run at 7:30 or 8 o'clock, whatever we kind of agree on. Testing the water. Is it mandatory you guys test every day, or is it every week? What's the regulations there?
No, you have to clean the filter at least once a week and test the water 3 or 4 times a week. Yeah, to make sure it's fine and secure. Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
So you guys want it to start at 7:30, like 7:30 to 7:30?
Mhm.
We
Yeah.
can get that changed.
Thank you.
Okay. We have cut around 15 to 16 pine trees dead around, and they keep dying around. I don't know. So we keep removing them. I don't know if you wanna call some expert to see why want to save them, like to treat them so they don't keep dying around.
So you can talk to Benchmark about just having them look at them and let us know what's wrong. And
No, I
what-
haven't talked to them, but I will
please.
to see.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we fixed the pavers in the square. We fixed some pavers inside the swim club with the pole to go inside the pool area and the stairs. Florida Health told us that need to be fixed before 30 days, and we removed the pavers and put concrete again under the pavers to make it strong again. The pole, and we have fixed some pavers in Cat Briar, and we have to fix more soon. This next week we will work on that. The boats are now good to go, all of them. They finished today with the seats, all of them looking fine and ready. We've replaced some of the batteries that were dead of the 20-foot pontoon boats, and we have some on the weekends with the food trucks. They are putting the grease in the trash cans,
Oh,
and when we lift up the trash bag, it go over the sidewalk. We're trying to remove with the pressure washer and degreaser, it's not coming out. I don't know who's taking care of them for the food trucks, so we can tell them not to
Jennifer.
put the grease in there.
So, I know Angel has Jennifer's contact information. If you could get that from, Angel and then, contact Jennifer and let her know this is happening at her events, that the food trucks are putting their oil in our trash cans. Thank you.
We have removed over 70% of the debris in the
The trash by the.
yeah, and we still have more to clean, but we're gonna do it this next weeks. And we have people from Harmony West that came here and dropped some debris in front of with pallets of tiles,
How do you know they came from Harmony West?
the address in the boxes. So I went there and told them that they need to remove everything, and they came next day and removed
Great.
it. What else? I think, oh, we trying to keep everything clean around the and working on the inspections items. We have done over 15 of them.
I have a question
Mhm.
about that. You know, when we get the agenda, it shows the items that are addressed to Benchmark with responses about when it will be addressed. But I'd like to see responses about when things that are addressed to Infomark are going to be
Okay,
addressed.
I will put them in for
You
the
know,
next.
this should be done by this date. This should be
Okay.
done. Here's what we're waiting for, et cetera.
Okay, I will put them in the next one.
Thank you.
If you have any questions,
Yeah, it's Lucas. Just one request. We were at the main pool the other week, and inside the pool along the perimeter, there's tiles that are very dirty that have grime and gunk all in them. I'm not sure the last time we've ever had those cleaned, but I think we need to get those cleaned out. There's like a big layer of grime on those.
Big layer of grime on, where is it, Lucas?
It's so if you're
The
inside
lower-
the pool, it's inside the bottom edge of the perimeter. There's these tiles, the blue tiles that run around the perimeter of the pool.
Side of the pool,
Inside the pool, yeah.
underneath the edge.
Yeah, right above the shelf of where there's, the ledge there.
the tiles.
Is it the tiles, Lucas?
Yeah, it's the tiles.
Yeah, we're cleaning them. We had to buy some more products because the stuff that's attached to the tiles is not coming out with the regular. So buying something else tomorrow to clean them around again. We're trying to clean them, yeah.
Okay.
Gonna work
And I'll
on
just
that.
double check with the Ashley Park pool as well. I haven't been over there, but it's probably the same.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna work on that tomorrow.
Thank you.
Quick question about last month we discussed, having something, some kind of ramp or something on clay brick by the tunnel.
Library.
So David had said something, but we had discussed having field services do something. I don't know if we need the engineer involved or,
We would, that was something that, David is not here today, he's on vacation unfortunately, so he asked me to just step in, so that was one of the items that the safety ramp improvements at that intersection is something that he's gonna be looking at for the next meeting.
so it's not something that they can do?
I believe that is something that the field staff can do, because all we've got to do is make sure that it's ADA compliant. And so that's definitely something that we can look into, and I believe Kerry, when he was here at the last meeting, was alluding to the same thing, that we should be able to do it.
So then is there a reason why David needs to be involved?
I guess to make sure it's in compliance from an ADA perspective, that would be the biggest thing. You know, the right slope, those mats that they put on them, or stuff to raise bumps and those kinds of things. So that would where I think we would need to have his
Approval.
Yeah.
Hey, Carol, did you see his email on Monday that came out?
Yeah,
Okay. He said he was gonna
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, he said he was gonna I guess discuss that the ramp improvements on the next one, but
Right, I did see that, but I was wondering why we needed him to be discussing it if field services could just address it. But now Howard's just said that I think the district manager and maybe the board would feel more comfortable if we had his okay that it meets the AD requirements.
gotcha. Okay.
And all the flooding in the streets have been reported to the county. And they respond, they're gonna come here and check and inspect the areas.
Do we know when?
The flooding. in the
Yeah, do we
street.
know when they're gonna
Oh,
come?
no,
No,
we received an email, but
Okay.
they didn't.
Oh,
Mm.
I see. Yes.
Tuesday evening
Ah.
as well.
Yeah, one was reported on Tuesday. and
Right, well, we've had a lot of very heavy rain just the
Yep.
last couple days, 2-3 days. Well, we need rain. I think that's all I have.
Any questions? No?
No, thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Jorge.
Well, the district engineer is not here, but he has,
You just want me to briefly summarize? I mean, you saw the email.
Yeah,
So that,
but
so
I have a question. He wants us to approve the proposal for the bathymetric survey, but it includes a topographic survey. And there was a map that I didn't really understand. And so I am trying to understand why he talked about us wanting a bathymetric survey, but the proposal includes a topographical survey, and we have no explanation from him of if and why that would be needed.
Reach out to about that, so
Yeah.
provide some insight.
Because one of the things he said when we asked, when I talked about being concerned about, a lot of growth in the ponds, he said that it would just be a couple $1,000s per pond, but now we're talking $6,200 for a bathymetric survey and a topographical survey. So that's 3 times as much as, he suggested it might be. So I want to know if we really need a topographic survey or if just the bathymetric survey would be sufficient. I also had a question about the Blazing Star Lane alley bed.
Sure.
So much of a better price, but I just want to make sure. By the way, the price is $16,000 as opposed to $60 or $89,000.
Correct.
So,
Okay.
but do we have is it this one right here? 16,250. So all labor, equipment, materials necessary to temporary intersection improvements per the plan provided. So it's temporary because eventually those alleyways will be repaved, and in the repaving, it will be a more permanent solution. Saw cut damaged asphalt, remove and dispose, excavate for new base material and filter fabric. Install ribbon curb per plan provided, install and compact 8 inches of road base and 2 inches of recycled asphalt. Road striping not included, sod replacement not included, for a total of $16,250. I just want to know if David has worked with Element Environmental and can recommend them.
Yes, I personally do.
I think this has gone on long enough. I think he's recommended that we approve this. And I'd like to make a motion that we approve the bid from Element Environmental for $16,250 to finally fix the alley on Blazing Star. Any other comments?
Can you read what David said about that, please? I don't have it right in front of me.
Yeah, sure. They received the second bid from Element Environmental in the amount of $16,250 as compared to an earlier bid from CCI in the amount of $68,000. Given the current significant deterioration and condition of this alleyway, I respectfully request the board's approval of the low bid in the amount of $16,250 from Element.
It doesn't say he recommends them or he's worked with them, but we have a motion on the table. I see. I see. Okay.
And they do, from the experience that I personally have with them, they do a good job.
Okay. Thank you.
And
Cool.
they do come
Makes
in
me more
less
comfortable
expensive.
voting yes.
Yes.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, that takes care of that one. We're good. I had questions about the bathymetric thing too,
Okay.
so.
I'll definitely reach out to Dave.
And obviously he commented on the lakefront community maintenance. We all saw the telephone book of requirements from the county.
Oh, my goodness.
So we will be getting back to that one. District Council.
Good evening, everyone. Just one brief item. It does relate to some pending litigation, so I would suggest if you have questions about the litigation or the specifics of it, give me a call after the meeting. But we have a mediation scheduled in an alleged trip and fall for the McCord case on July 23rd at 9:30 a.m. It is a Zoom mediation, and by the rules of the court, the board needs to appoint a representative to attend that Zoom mediation on July 23rd at 9:30 a.m. And again, it is by Zoom, so you can do it from the comfort of your home. But I would need to know if there's a board member who's available and willing to be the mediation representative there with the other counsel that the board has.
What is, so this is about negotiation?
Correct. I don't anticipate the district will be asked to spend money out of their general fund. And that's as much as I really want to say on that right now.
Sure, I can do it.
Thank you, Mark. I have another obligation that morning.
I'm retired.
Okay, can we get a motion to appoint the chair as the mediation representative?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Very good. So, wait a second, what day is this again?
July 23rd, 9:30 a.m. via
Seven-
Zoom. Did
Was
I
it
get it
9:30 or
right,
9?
Mike? Is it
That is
9 or
correct.
9:30?
9:30.
All right, you're gonna send me an email to remind me, right?
And what those,
I'm going to send you the call-in instructions for Zoom, and yes, I'll send an email to remind you as well.
Sounds good.
And that's all I have on my report. There are other items that I'm sure you might have some questions on, but with that, I'm done with my report, but happy to answer any questions.
have we heard anything from Waste Management regarding insurance to cover alleyway repairs?
Yes, we have. So they sent it to another adjuster. So the adjuster has finally been in contact with me. They did a field inspection, not last Friday, but the Friday before, of the area. And so now they are working out to see what the final amount is for the payout. So I reached out to him again today.
I'm thinking $16,250 personally.
And so I reached out to him again today just to see if there's any further information, but that's where they're at the moment. So David, to my knowledge, has been in touch with them, maybe a week or so ago regarding the contractor to use. And so I'm sure with this new bid that came in on Monday, that's probably where the discussions are at now. So
Yeah, they might actually agree to that.
yes, the other one was.
Yeah.
taking a bit too over the top.
Very good.
Thank you. I'm just making sure I don't have anything for Mike. I think that's it.
Very good. Thank you very much. Let's see, district manager.
So we have the financial audit for the fiscal year 2023 that came in. This is the annual audit that is done every single year. Page 91 in the agenda shows that Harmony was in compliance. So that is just.
Move to accept the,
Well,
audit.
I just, okay. Move to accept the audit. I'll second.
Very
I
good.
just want to say that someone who shall remain nameless posted on a Facebook page, Harmony Residence Forum, that from the audit, he quoted that we went from 1.4 something million to 197,000, and that was a loss of $1.3 million. But that was incorrect for anybody listening. The true number was that 1.4 plus million was a negative. That was the net condition of the CDD at the end of 2022. By the end of 2023, we're net positive 197,000, which is a difference of 1.6 million. I just want to say that what was posted, for those people who may be listening, either now or later, that was posted, that was not factual, that was not correct. It was a misreading of that 1.4 million number. It was a negative because it was in parentheses. So just want to put it out there. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Dan.
it's our net position, so it's capital with depreciation, it's bond obligations that we have, and yeah, if you go back over time, it's, several million a year as things are paid off and everything. And yeah, it was in this case, apparently went from negative overall net position, considering all those bond obligations and everything, to being slightly positive, and that's just been the trend of things for years and years as the bonds have been paid off, and expect to continue.
Yes.
Otherwise, a good, healthy audit report.
Page 91 specifically says, I'm just getting to it.
Yeah, you should see.
Here's the sentence. In our opinion, it's the last paragraph on this letter, on agenda page 91. In our opinion, Harmony Community Development District complied in all material respects with the aforementioned requirements, which are state requirements, during the year ended September 30th, 2023.
I'm sure that exact same sentence has appeared for 20 years in a row.
I agree, but I'm just putting it out there because now people are, thinking that we're doing nefarious things, and there's corruption, and that there's graft and all kinds of things.
Now, people aren't. A few idiots are, but people aren't.
Those are people.
Okay. Let's see. So there's a motion and a second to accept the audited financial statements. All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Very good. Moving right along. Well, we have golf course maintenance facility financing options. But let's talk about, I think the best price I can get out of them is 2 million. Okay, in my discussions with our realtor and with the owner of the property.
we have not seen any financial.
Well,
like, layout spreadsheet of how all the expenses and all the revenue and what the, either deficit or positive is, and it sounds like it's going to be a deficit. I know that there are certain board members, Joe isn't here, but there are certain board members who want to move forward with this, but I am not among them. I think it's a very bad idea.
understood. From my own perspective, thinking about it, well, let's put a little more context in this. I believe it has been an extremely useful exercise to go through financing and what is possible. The most interesting thing that really popped up was that this body still has the authority to issue $9.175 million in bonds. The original, way back in the beginning, when the CDD was set up, was the county gave permission for up to 50 million in bonds. To date, only 40,825,000 has actually been issued. So we still have 900. We still have $9 million that can be spent. The key is we really can't do it until this side of town is 90% done. When this side of town is 90% done, then this board has the full authority to decide if they want some special projects and to do some things. So I think, I think it was a very useful exercise to go through. For myself, I don't know, 2 million is a lot of money. And could we do better?
I still am feeling like we should consider the Five Oaks Drive location. Because
Well,
nobody wants it.
That's an interesting catch-22 though, because as I understand the Five Oaks proposal, it would require an easement from the landowner who we're about to say no to get to it. So you get a bit of a catch-22 there.
Yeah, and it may be that we have to spend some money to get that easement. Hopefully not much, but that's a lot cheaper than a $2 million building. And it's a building that is built to purpose, that is for our use. We don't have to be a landlord. We don't have to, take out bond money. We don't have to saddle residents with 15 years of 6% debt on a new bond. So I'm still in favor of pushing that. David's not here. I know he's gonna throw up his hands in frustration, but nobody really wants it at Lakefront Park, and it's a compromise putting it there. The plan for putting it at Lakefront Park is that it's much smaller, doesn't really have an office, just space for materials and equipment, etc., is very limited in that location. There are some issues with the Five Oaks Drive location. There's a phone easement, and there's the entry easement that we could lead off of the golf course maintenance road. But I think maybe those are solvable, and maybe
Couldn't you just build an entrance right off the street?
you'd need a curb cut and the way David, I don't know, Dan, do you want to address that?
I want to say. Also. It could be right next to the golf course. Yeah, if I'm recalling, the answer was it would have to come in from that road.
To me, it sounds a little bit like we're still doing Band-Aid solutions. Isn't the real solution to put an actual road back to the sizable property that we own, that includes the garden?
We can't, we can't put a road in there because that's the gas pipeline. We cannot pave over it. We would have to spend a couple $100,000 to essentially have a gravel road that would accommodate fire trucks and emergency rescue vehicles. So, and that road would need to be redone over and over and over again because it would wear out just like it wears out every time we do it. So we can't pave. We can cross it. And what we were hoping for is when that neighborhood M on the other side of where the dog park is, it's not being used. When that went on the right side of the garden road, when that gets developed, we were hoping we could have a road that could cross the gas pipeline into that area. Then we could construct something.
Why not go the other way? What street is, excuse me, this is why I keep this map.
So I want to go back a little bit. The reason why we were doing this is because the county was pushing us out of the area that we had back there. Where do we stand with the county? Because I know David's not here to talk really those details, but I know we told them we were going to start building something, and now we're in a flux of 3 different options. Just kind of want to circle back around and see where we're at with the county. I don't know
So
if
that
anything.
was it in the agenda or was it separate, the stuff from the county? I don't remember.
Stuff in the agenda.
Um, so let's see, consideration, page 93. Page 93. Oh no, wait a minute. That was district engineer, lakefront, page 30. So page 30, Lucas, of the agenda starts with maintenance facility county comments. And there's like, I don't know, 10 pages of comments that the county requires this, that, and the other thing. So if you take a look at that, that's where we are with the county, specifically on the Buck Lake location. So they want,
Well, we don't need to read.
no, they want many things. There would be a lot of work required, even if we were to continue putting it
I'm
there.
certain he's read the minutes and is aware of that.
Well, he just was,
Well, then it's his responsibility to read the minutes.
No, I was aware of it. I just didn't know kind of what that applied to because it wasn't really clear in the package of
Well,
work.
David has said that he's not going to work on that until we make a decision on the golf course maintenance facility. And it sounds to me like the answer on the golf course maintenance facility is, the answer is no.
Yeah. So my original question was basically, what's our timeline of getting this figured out? Because originally the county was on our tails saying we need to figure something out to move the stuff out of that area.
so one of the things David said, Lucas, was that the county currently is missing an engineer and everything is taking longer. So I don't think the pressure on us is that high. And I wish David was here because I'd like to ask him if the board is willing to consider the Five Oaks location, whether that would, of the things that they're asking for, whether the plans for that, which would be purpose made and specific for this use, if that, those plans might better address the kinds of issues that the county is raising.
Right. Agreed.
Some of the issues that they mentioned, like the turnaround space and all that, those were the same issues that we had with trying to use anything in the previous location, outside of the RV storage lot. And that kind of, played into the decision that we, never mind, we have to do these, additional PD changes with the county to get that, kind of, maintenance use authorized for that property in the first place. That getting that authorization would be contingent on that level of road improvements coming all the way back from, supposedly along the pipeline easement. We don't really own any property to come in from where neighborhood M is. And
Well, but that's why I was looking at the map. What about Feathergrass? Feathergrass backs onto our property.
no, it doesn't. I mean, it's conservation area.
It's wetlands.
I don't know that you're going to, I think the county is gonna be very warm to, bulldozing through, that Zara Oak.
And building
that
a
way.
road is gonna be expensive.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with that.
Yeah, I don't think we need to find another location for this place, this
We're
maintenance
talking
facility.
about, we're talking
Yeah, no,
about,
you're talking about here.
yep, right there. So, you'd need to build a.
No, I meant put it back here in all this land we own. We own all this. That's not conservation. That's where the garden is now. That's where the parking lot used to be right here. That's parking lot. That's garden. That's Feathergrass. It's literally,
Community garden is down here, not up here. It's down here.
yeah, but this is where the parking was. So I mean, I mean,
This is where the parking.
you can't run through here.
No. I don't think so.
Well, with all due respect, the people from Starwood Land Vultures, they managed to create that. So,
without the county signing off on it. So that's a luxury we don't have it. You, put it on the screen, girl. Throw it on the Zoom meeting.
however, that's just. you know,
So do
it
we,
Sounds like we have no consensus here as to what we want to do.
well, I know what I'm suggesting, but I don't know what anybody else is feeling about that or in other options. I don't know that.
I say we vote on eliminating one of the options and go from there. I've always been about against the Buck Lake option. I don't think there's not enough room. There's no, we originally thought there was a area there that we could reuse, which is not the case anymore. I think it's either the Five Oaks or the golf maintenance facility, which I say we push that off until they come down in price. $2 million is way too expensive.
How
And
about we just request that the district manager ask David, and sorry, Dan, I mean to cut you off. Just say what you feel about this. We ask David to look into the comments from the county and whether how feasible the Five Oaks Drive location would be.
Well, okay, so for everyone's information, this red outline here, this is actually Catnick Osceola LLC. Oh, it's the property wrapping around the little sidewalk off the end of Feathergrass and everything surrounding
The other company from my.
yes. So they're the new developer and they basically everything surrounding the RV storage parcel, which is highlighted here.
Why don't you also show the Five Oaks location, just so,
Five Oaks
you know.
location is right here. And there's a telephone easement that kind of blocks off this top corner of the property. And you can't have another entrance right next to it, so we would have to get an easement to have an entrance off of the maintenance road here. And it's part parking and everything, drainage that would have to be done. It's a tight squeeze fitting it into that property.
But it's a tight squeeze on a much bigger building than the Buck Lake proposal.
I thought it was kind of similar because you need so many parking spaces, you need, some kind of, drainage management.
I think the building itself was much more sizable. We don't have the information right in front of us, but I seem to recall that the building itself was going to be, and the capacity for equipment and materials, et cetera, was going to be more suitable than the Buck Lake location. But, so anyway, your thoughts, Dan?
Given the list of requirements and everything that was flowed to us by the county for the Buck Lake site, enough of those things overlap with what we would have had to do to use the previous site. I don't know if it is worth putting any effort into. That was still a couple years ago now that was shut down. If we're comparing the costs of doing it at Buck Lake, no one wants to do it. We have this list of requirements of the county. Clean site development on Five Oaks with unknown additional requirements from the county and the limitations that David's already told us about. How does that compare to the level of improvements that we would need to do to the pipeline road, and what additional steps of the county would be needed just to shore up where it was previously, but have it done with the approval of the county and to their meeting all the requirements for fire trucks being able to turn around and all that. So if the facility isn't happening, and sorry, collecting my thoughts. We had the information in this for a bank loan. If it were a bond that were issued once we're at the 90% point, I know we did the appraisal, but I'd still be interested in seeing what the full side-by-side is of if we were renting the RV storage lot at the rates we had before, if it was say 90% occupied, and how much of that expense of that bond for purchasing that property could realistically be offset. We had that
Well,
appraisal, but
if you do a bond, zero. Because a bond would be just like,
yes, it goes on the books and it will be paid off in.
yeah, but
15
it goes on each individual property.
I understand that.
So, so there's not really an offset.
Right, but if
I mean, a bank loan actually makes more sense because then that's directly on the district.
so, it would be.
Either way, the
There'd be
residents are paying.
encumbrances to using whatever income is made possible by the storage lot, by subleasing the building, whatever. I guess budgetarily, that's hard to do with the bond. What it sounds like. I mean, if we're, this needs more discussion, obviously.
Yeah.
I see what the numbers are for improving what others.
Yeah. Yeah, Dan, I agree with you. I think we need more discussion, but I think we also need to put somewhat of a deadline on these items to figure out which path we're going to go forward with. And obviously, David's not here to give all those details, but we need to, like you said, a side-by-side comparison, whether the Five Oaks option is a loan or a bond, and compare the two options. But we need to finalize something in the near term.
Give that direction to David. We don't have to wait until the next meeting. We can gather our thoughts and give him direction to have something for us to act on by the next meeting. We kind of put a bunch of thoughts out there. Do we have anything specific want to say as our direction for David on how to proceed?
I'd like him to look at the county's comments from my perspective. I'd like to him to look at the county's comments in relation to the Five Oaks Drive location and what that current, with the construction cost we were given was around 300 something thousand dollars, right? The last cost we were given for improving the road to the garden was 225,000, just to improve the road, not to construct any building whatsoever. Which is not even permitted there by the county. So we would need, we would need to go through the permitting process
Yes.
or zoning change process, whatever, with the county. So I'd like David to look at the feasibility of, the Five Oaks site again. That's my preference.
Well, I don't understand enough about, the speed with which the county wants us to do this. At a certain level, I favor getting a good idea when this side of town is going to be 90% done, and then doing things the right way. I'm concerned that regardless of what we do here, it's still a Band-Aid approach. And perhaps we need to be thinking in terms of permanent solutions.
That would be a permanent solution on Five Oaks. That's not a Band-Aid.
Well, yeah, but you need permission from currently the golf course to use their road to get into it.
Yes, we would, but we would need a lot of things from the county too.
Well, I appreciate that, but
But it's not a Band-Aid.
but I'm about to call the golf course tomorrow and say, no, it wasn't approved. And I have no idea what their reaction is going to be to us. We do know that we have landowners who are totally uncooperative with us now. We will see.
So you can always, I don't know that the board wants to give you permission to ask what they would want for, an easement on Five Oaks. But that's information we'll need for sure, if we move forward with the Five Oaks location.
If they're looking to sell, then that's adding an easement, that's going to be adding another encumbrance on whoever
Yeah,
they're
no kidding.
selling to.
Yep.
I thought we were at 90%. That's not the case, I guess.
Not on this, it's for each. On that side of town, yes, we are. On this side of town, no, we're not. So I think it's the 2000, what are those, 2014 and 2015?
Bonds.
Yeah, the 2014 is 90%. The 2015 is not 90%. But perhaps when they get the last bit of the lakes done, it will be.
So they're like not even close.
I don't remember.
I thought the analysis. Sorry.
Yeah, David might actually have that number. I'm pretty sure I've seen the number. I don't think it's that far away. So in any case, I think we've decided to punt.
What we want to ask David, yes, we understand that maybe things are slow with the county. We want some more information on the Five Oaks location. I'd be curious to hear his thoughts on having dealt with the county and all that, and knowing what would be involved with the storage lot property and those improvements. Is that just a non-starter? What's his sense of the scale of doing it back there versus doing it on Five Oaks? And yeah, I guess the other question is how close we are.
Oh yeah, that's a key question.
The second location, Dan, you see the Five Oaks location, but you also mentioned
where it used to be, outside the RV storage lots.
Up by the community garden.
Yeah, if you can figure out how to do the road, that to me is the one that makes the most sense for this kind of operation.
You don't think the golf course, would subdivide that property? Put the trailer on the driveway where it used to be way, way back when?
No idea.
Shall we move on?
Reach out to Dave, these questions.
Thank you.
Agreement with Ecolab Pool and Spa for pool services.
Okay, under the first proposal, the top sheet. you can see-
Mike's comments, yeah, I saw
Yes,
them in the email.
these are, council's comments regarding the Ecolab agreement, that the board should review before we make a final decision. Did the board have a chance to review those
I did.
comments? Was there anything of concern, or is the board happy for us to proceed? One thing that was added was that it can be insured, the equipment can be insured.
Is that
So
gonna result in an increase in our premium?
she didn't say how much, so there probably will be an increase, yes. We're actually going through that process now with the insurance, so that could be included for next year's. Other than that, those were just the issues that we wanted to bring to the board's attention to see if there was any concerns that they had. Otherwise, we can proceed with getting the agreement signed.
So do we need to vote on anything, or do we just? I don't know, Mike.
Yeah, you would need to vote, and I'm sorry, I lost the internet connection, so I'm calling in by phone. But you would just need to vote to approve the Ecolab Pool and Spa agreement that's in the agenda package.
So moved.
Second. Any other comments?
Yeah. Feedback on the identification. Could you give us like just maybe a 2-sentence summary on why you consider that problematic?
I'm sorry if that was directed at me. It's hard to hear whoever was talking. If somebody could repeat the question if it's directed at me.
Yeah, yes. Guess my mic wasn't on, sorry. Yeah, so for the area you were most concerned about, section 11, the indemnification, could you just give us like just a 2-sentence summary on?
Yeah. So in the event that there was a lawsuit, this language requires the district to get Ecolab's permission to defend the claim in order to preserve indemnification rights later on. And if they say don't defend it and the district does defend it, then perhaps you could lose your indemnification rights. I think that's a pretty unlikely scenario, but it is something that they insisted on, and I've never seen in another contract before where you have to get somebody else's permission to defend yourself. So that's the comment.
And that would only be in a case that pertains to their equipment, so the pools as a whole, I guess?
Correct. It would be related to the services they provide, which again, I think it's unlikely, but it is something that was out of the ordinary and something the board should make the business decision whether to proceed.
Okay, thank you for your advice. We do have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Very good. Next, we have consideration of access and utility easement for OUC for North Lake. My understanding, this is just to allow them onto the property, right?
This is to allow the district onto the North Lake property so that we can, be responsible for the streetlights there and access the streetlights there. So this is really related to the second issue, which is the OUC agreement. So the first document gives us the authority and the ability to be on the property. And then the second document is assigning the OUC contract to the district and then the district would be responsible for paying OUC on a moving forward basis. And although I wasn't here when the district entered into other agreements like this before, my understanding and what I've been told is that this is generally the way that it's been handled in past. We had a hiccup because they didn't put in.
Incorrect. The second agreement is a complete non-starter. Basically, the district does not pay for streetlights. We certainly pay for the electricity
And the maintenance.
and the maintenance, but we do not pay for the installation of streetlights.
The capital investment.
We do not pay the capital investment for streetlights. That's the way it's was done. Well, let's see.
In F and G and F,
Yeah.
G and H, I think. We had the developer, so we don't want we don't want the city to be responsible for paying the capital investment, Mike. We feel that the developer who's trying to hand this to us needs to pay off that capital investment themselves. And we would be willing to pay the maintenance and the fuel costs, but we don't want to have to pay the capital investment.
The CDD had bought out previous agreements like that in years past.
Yes.
Yeah, but basically it was off balance sheet finance, which is, well, certainly caught our attention many years ago. But yeah, I was still on the board when we changed that and said, we're not paying for new lights. You know, somebody else has got, you got to buy the lights. The people from Starwood Land Ventures weren't very happy about it, but that was tough. That's the reason the lights, over in the new section are cheaper than the lights in the old section, because they had to buy the lights. So they went out and found cheaper ones. That's why there's cheaper lights over there than we have in the main part of town.
So do we
Well,
need
no,
to
this,
vote on this,
I'm
Mike?
sorry, go ahead.
I was asking.
No, I think I would not vote on it if that's, so what my understanding was inaccurate, and I appreciate you all clarifying that. So I would not vote on the utility easement, and I would not vote on the OUC agreement, but I would ask the board if you could turn to page 138 of the PDF agenda, because it talks about the monthly lighting service charge. There's a capital investment, which I'm hearing is a no-go for the district. There's a maintenance cost of $343, and then there's a fuel and energy cost of $44.60. So I need direction from the board to tell them capital investment is a no. The one that I'm not sure on, based on what you just said, is the maintenance costs.
We are paying maintenance and fuel and energy costs on other neighborhoods. So I think we're okay with that.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
It's the capital investment that's a no-go. The others are okay.
Okay, so we can do one of two things today. We can not approve anything, or we could approve the access and utility easement, and you could approve the assignment subject to removal of the capital investment obligation from the district. It's your pleasure, whichever way you'd like to proceed.
You have a recommendation?
My recommendation, just because I like to keep agendas short and not talk about the same thing over and over again, I would recommend the second option, which is to approve the easement and approve the assignment subject to the developer satisfying the capital investment, so that that does not ride on through the assignment.
Can I say so moved?
You can.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right.
Cool.
Lucas, was
Thank
that
you
an
for the
aye or a
clarification.
nay?
I appreciate that.
What was that, Carol?
I just couldn't tell if that was an aye or a nay.
That was an I.
Okay. Now we have a closed session. So we'll have to ask the civilians to leave the room because under Florida law, if we're going to discuss security systems, we must do it in camera.
No.
And if we could, this is Mike Eckert. The board, you do have the option if you want to go ahead and handle the consent agenda now if you want to, but if not, then we'll have to open back up the public meeting, which we'll have to do anyway because the supervisor's request. But we can certainly ask people to step out and then ask them to step back in. So
Okay, well,
So I'm sorry, what is the recommendation?
No, it was just saying.
my recommendation would be to handle the consent agenda now and handle supervisor's request now and then handle a security system at the very end in case people don't want to stick around just to hear a motion to adjourn.
So is that what we're doing?
Yeah, and then you've got minutes and consent.
Well,
agenda.
Mike is saying that if we do the consent agenda and the supervisor's request now,
Oh, I see.
then
beforehand.
we can kick everybody out right at the end and have our
Okay.
discussion at the end.
Oh, okay.
But
All right.
I think Mark went to the restroom thinking we were gonna have a break, so maybe I'll just run out and see if Barbara is still out there.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so stand by on Zoom, everybody. We're gonna shuffle a couple things around here.
Barbara, you still out there?
Go ahead. Need a copy of that receipt for the garden expenses?
Yeah, I got
Just email it or do it like.
I got it.
Barbara?
You did for the clear, but I haven't.
Oh.
Was the black plastic more expensive? Yeah, just send me that.
What's that? Yes, these all go on
This is
YouTube.
real quick.
Search YouTube for Harmony CDD. Yes, yep.
Okay.
That's a public reference
Oh, well,
request. Any kind
we
of,
did for him, and we
at
see-
least the audio recording should be provided to you,
All right,
absolutely.
great,
And
thanks.
for video, yep.
I'm just curious if there are any Zoom attendees who are candidates for the CBD board.
I don't see any on there.
Well, there's someone in Hannah, I think, or at least was, that
She's, with,
Infomark?
Kutak Rock, right?
I don't know. Is Hannah with Kutak Rock? Mike?
No,
Oh. Well,
Hannah's always on there. I don't know who she is.
Oh, what did we decide to do?
We
And there's a
decided to
phone
go
number
ahead with the
there.
consent agenda and supervisor's request and then kick everybody out.
Oh, okay, so.
So,
Did that lady?
She left. I went out and tried to find her, but she was gone.
Okay. All right, consent agenda.
I sent one potential correction to Brenda, Angel, and Neil. You saw it
Yeah, it was like.
a couple hours ago. Yeah, a couple hours ago. And then did I have a question? Well, it was actually about a Toho bill, but it's not something I can hold up. I just moved to approve the consent agenda.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
But I wanted to know from you, Howard, about several things that so district manager, all we had was acceptance of the audited financial statements, but maybe I can go over all this in supervisor's requests, which it's now anyway, right?
Yeah, correct.
All right. So so when I read the minutes, I go through and I see what has been discussed that is not resolved yet. And that's what I'm bringing forward to you. So the first item on my list here is, have you checked into the availability of when this is going to be no longer available to us? What is the availability of this?
So many times, I was hoping to get all the meeting, but no one there.
So no answer yet.
Rang them again, no answer. But
Okay.
also no one's still
All
answering.
right.
I am still following up on that.
Okay.
I'm
And
surprised that no one's got back to me.
I know you've been following up with Toho about the water bills. Do you have any new report about that?
Yes, so I'm glad you brought it up because I was hoping we were going to talk about this in supervisor request. So the Toho water bills, so I was dealing with 2 or 3 people within Toho, okay? they pulled up records and showed consumption of actual readings, nothing wrong with the reading or the meter or anything like that. And consumption has the same pattern that we talked about. There's nothing that can be identified for these spikes. It just seems to be a constant pattern that has been happening. So we looked at we took one specific meter and this constant spike up, down, all based on actual readings. So there's really, it came to basically a dead end because there's nothing really more that they could look into.
I think if you follow, especially on, we have Facebook and what's the other one?
Next door.
Next door. What's interesting about next door is you get a lot of other neighborhoods. And there's so much chatter about people being so unhappy with Toho because of their water bills bouncing up and down. So
Mostly up.
I don't think, well, yeah, nobody's going to complain when it's down. But, there seems to be a lot of chatter going on about people being hit with unexpectedly high water bills and Toho not really being able to respond.
Yeah, and Joe brought this up at the last meeting that she had the same issue as well.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's really just came to a dead end more than anything. I mean, I can keep pushing them. I mean, I've got no problem.
I wonder if we
doing
can interface with Benchmark about those particular zones and find out if they have any explanation for why usage is on this roller coaster.
Yeah, there was one particular area that they did look into and there was nothing identified. That was a big spike and then came down, the bill came down the following month. And so I would have thought that we would have found something out then through like an irrigation or something, but it's just
Nothing.
There's just nothing. And then there's no, like you were saying before, Mark, there is no accountability from Toho on the matter.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be.
And so they just keep pushing back and saying, here's some information. And you see the information, you go, okay, well, I can understand that. But then there's still the why behind it. Like, why would you have
Right. Why would there be this?
$1,500 and then
Yeah.
there's nothing that's changed.
Yeah.
But then
They're not changing the clocks or the timers or.
But then you see the graphs and the consumption so whether there's manipulation on their part, I'm not sure. But that's where I basically got to, and this was dealing with Barbara was her name, where she dealt with other issues as well.
Well, maybe somebody will do a class action suit against Toho Water for their inaccurate billing. Next question. Last time we had talked about updating the facility usage application to include the rules for usage. And for example, the use of the deposit for trash removal if they don't remove their trash, and that it would list the fees.
So I finally updated that. I'm doing my personal final review before I get other people to review it.
Okay.
But we should get this updated.
All right.
Yeah.
So we'll check
Like
on that.
realistically, what we think.
All right. So we'll
That's
check on that
currently in
next
the
week.
rules, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
So 2009.
All right. So last time we talked about having having you request the county put some no commercial vehicle parking signs on 5 Oaks or at the entrances to the community.
And I'm still working with them. They have just been at snail's pace regarding this, and I don't know whether that's just this particular department or what have you, but I am still working on it, yes.
Okay. And then there's still no details on the golf maintenance facility. So I had asked Angel some financial questions. It's on agenda page 158. Go there. 158. There were 2 questions. It was near the end of the meeting. So Ms. Castle asked if Ms. Montana received the report indicated in the regular meeting minutes related to costs coded to miscellaneous services. The accountant did some reclassifications and will be providing the report in the next day or so. I don't think that happened. I don't think so. Not that I recall. And then the next sentence was, I asked about a minus $642 user facility revenue that was in the financials and why it was a negative number, and that she said she would provide the answer and is not sure why it was coded to that line item, and I didn't have it. So these are lines 498 to 502.
I'll find out.
And then, my second to last question is about the garden shed and where we are with that.
Okay, so we have had some action on this, not in a positive way.
Ugh.
Which is, so the county now, because we are putting this on a commercial lot, requires a general contractor for the permitting process. So we are working, there's two solutions here. There's only one company that I've found that is a one-stop shop that'll do everything from start to finish. Okay, but their price is basically double what we would have, you know, 4,500, you know, we're looking at like $8,000 to $9,000 for that. They are a one-stop shop, so they handle everything else. The other option that we're looking to, I'm looking into with the director of field, Kerry, is to have a general contractor liaise and basically oversee the whole project. Okay, so none of the proposals that we've got, they will provide no permitting for commercial space. Residential, you can get this thing installed within a week. So that's kind of where we're at with that. I would want to explore the option. Kerry was hoping to have a meeting with him today, but unfortunately they canceled. As soon as I find out information on what they can do, I will forward that to the board, because we have a good option here for a good shed. We know the location, we know everything about it. We just need that with the county. And there's no way, district engineer looked at, is there a way to get around this? But there's just simply no way to do that. And exhausted all options with the county, and basically the same answer. No, you need a general contractor for the permit.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, but that really is just replacing the shed that's already there. So why
And
is,
because
why are
it's
they
on
doing that?
Well, because it's on a commercial lot owned by the Harmony CDD,
Yeah, but it
they
was.
require a permit.
Yeah, but the other one was too.
I can't.
It
see
was
what's
probably put in
Yeah.
without any.
Yeah,
permission.
it was probably done.
No, it wasn't done illegal. It was all permitting and everything, because Greg Gogowski did it all.
Hmm.
No, it was all done right. That's the only reason the garden is still there, because it was
Right.
all done right. So I don't understand why they're saying that. 'cause we can take one out and put that in the same place.
That's just what they're saying, telling us that we need.
That's a pain.
That's more than a pain. It's
Yeah,
just been
right.
like, oh. So much.
Sorry. So my last-
It's a huge frustration, because
Oh,
we had
Absolutely.
everything lined up, and we even had the funds in there for the permitting. And now we have to backtrack. It is, and it's the same response from the county over and over again.
So my last question or request is to look into the invoice on page 116 of the invoice summary that we got. Page 116, it's a Toho water bill for 7,300 Five Oaks Drive. It went from $380 to $1,259. So it's another one to look into.
Okay.
That's very recent.
Okay. And I'll send that directly to the people that I've been dealing with.
Yeah.
And to find out and see what the response is.
Okay. And that was it for me. Sorry to be so long, but.
Any other supervisor comments?
You have anything you could?
None here.
Okay, just a couple. So, obviously you guys have been, working diligently on Splash Pad, and it's up and running. We're extremely grateful for that. You said that the monitor was still, I guess, back ordered. Is there even like any kind of expectation of a date or something?
I personally haven't been able to find anything. Have you been able to find out a date on?
It's still back order, but I'm gonna contact them again this week to see.
Yeah.
When they
It's
can-
not just the particular unit that we need. It's
Right.
like every 3 or 4 different variations around it that are all back ordered. I have no idea why.
Okay.
It doesn't make any sense.
Okay, and then also, I guess, related to the splash pad with Ecolab coming in, have they, so we approved the contract. Do we know if there's going to be any expected downtime associated with them getting their equipment installed? And as a benefit of that, with them doing the chemicals, does that mean we maybe have more flexibility in being able to open sooner versus?
Yeah, he's a resident from Harmony,
Right.
and he told me that he's waiting for approval. He can start working the next day because he have the equipment in his house already.
Okay,
So with the signing of this agreement, we can,
okay, good to hear.
we can get that going
And
a lot quicker.
Yeah, very good. And in the last meeting, I mean, our parting words were it's the most important thing and got it. It was under the wire, but we got it. I just, I can't emphasize enough that, this isn't the first time it's been up and running after a period of, extended downtime and, well, what's the next thing to break? And you guys you came through. You please make sure you treat it like your jobs depend on that working, because elections are coming up. I know I wouldn't mind having the spare time if I get voted out, but that splash pad is a huge issue, and please make sure it remains a top priority. Good job with getting it.
Yeah, no problem at all. Dan.
And I had one other thought, and I lost it.
Okay.
Do you
well,
have anything?
Oh, yeah, sorry, the other part, yeah, it was related to, we had a gentleman that was in here earlier, and yes, obviously, I understand we need to be respectful of everyone's time. We have, a council engineer, people travel to come to the meetings. Just to emphasize, anyone that's, watching, obviously contacting us directly is the best way to get something, to, bring visibility to something, get our attention, get something fixed. And if you feel that that is not being, your concerns aren't being addressed, you're being ignored, it didn't get fixed, whatever, then yes, being here at the meeting and using your audience comments is the ideal time to do that. If someone, I know I was a mad dash to get everything set up and ready to go right at 6, and I barely made it. If it weren't for me being rushed, we might have, my thought is maybe we could be a little less regimented of, okay, you got here at 6:01. Sorry, we'll see you next month. That's my thought.
Thanks, Dan. No, I agree. And actually, I think if we have a day like today where, we've gone through the agenda quickly, we can open it up for some questions.
Were he still here?
Yeah. So I don't know how you feel about that.
Chairman's call.
Yeah. I mean, these things are promulgated in Florida law as to how you're going to do it. I mean, we already bend a bit because we let them talk about anything. The actual rule is you get 3 minutes to talk about something that's on the agenda, period. Okay. I mean, you go to county commissioners meeting, 3 minutes about what's on here. We give them 3 minutes to talk about anything. So we're already bending a bit. Yeah.
Okay. I have no further requests.
But yeah, that's why, send an email. I answer emails. That's one reason I have no supervisor requests, because when I have a supervisor question, I send it to him right away.
And you guys have been excellent with responding to.
Thank you, Howard. It's
All
a
right.
breath of fresh
We will
air.
now have to ask the members of the public to leave the room
Hi, everybody.
because we have only one topic left, and by law, we may only discuss it in a closed session.
Yep. And now Lucas is on Zoom. Can you maybe call your cell phone or something?
Yes, I've got Mike. Mike, are you still gonna call my cell phone?
I am, yeah. I'm still going to call your phone, and you'll have to disconnect the Zoom, but we'll have to reconnect it when we go back into do a motion to adjourn. But yeah, I'm going to hang up right now and call you, Howard, on your cell, if that's okay.
Okay, Lucas.
Is it possible that we could just the Zoom mute and
that's what I'm
come off video and not end the meeting so that they won't be able to see us or hear us?
Yeah, as long as it can't be seen or heard, then that would be okay.
Okay. Thank
So
you
who
for
am I?
saying.
Who am I gonna call?
Lucas, I'll give you my cell phone number now. I've got 2 phones here, so.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks.
Well, actually,
Yeah,
Not a
it's,
complaint.
video's turned off.
Okay.
And,
we're not muted.
I will, well, yeah, yes, Lucas, if he was ready. You good, Lucas?
Yeah.
Mike's on the phone. As soon as we get you, Lucas, I will mute the Zoom. Lucas, you ready for my phone number?
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
Okay, 407.
Yeah, this one?
Thanks, Sam.
407
922
922
5086.
The one on top.
5086.
Correct.
You're
All
all
right. I'll sign off here and I'll give you a call.
Oh,
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
see.
but I have turned the video and audio back on.
Oh, so you gotta put my thing back in?
Because there. Yeah, there.
Okay. We're good. So what do we have to do to reopen the meeting?
We're just,
Move to adopt the proposal from, name and company, right?
Yeah, you can name the company and understanding that we have a contract form we've looked at with them, and we'll present that to the board.
Okay, so moved for, flock safety.
I'll second that.
We don't need to put a price in our motion?
I referenced the proposal, so at the price listed on the proposal.
I second that. Any other discussion? Then we'll call for the question. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Decision is unanimous. We will engage flock safety.
Mike, do we need any kind of agreement above and beyond what flock safety are providing?
Don't we need a contract?
Yeah, their agreement needs some work, but get out about 3 other districts. So,
Okay.
Just send that. I've got the information and we get an agreement together. They go through.
Okay, thank you very much, Mike.
And we're not allowed to talk about this, right?
You should not.
Very good.
You adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor? Anybody opposed?
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Lucas.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.